Broadcasting down in the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 15 of Mark Out Mania. Patrick, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Well, glad to be back at it after a long Mardi Gras weekend, at least for me. It's a little bit tired today, but I'm here. I'm on that medication. I had a little medical, not really a scare earlier last week, but I did have to go to the ER. So
you had those Brock Lesnar guts.
So a diverticulitis. That's not exactly what I have, but that's what they thought I had. I just had some pain in my lower left abdomen, but they gave me some antibiotics. It's kind of messing with my stomach a little bit, but the initial pain I had is gone, so that's good. I'm just ready to be done with these antibiotics, and I have my because I'm losing my appetite, and it's not fun. But I'm here, ready to do the show, ready to talk some wrestling. I'm still kind of in the Mardi Gras mood because Mardi Gras not quite done yet. We still have it tomorrow, but after that, I'm gonna be in full wrestling mode next week. But we're here to do the show today. We're talking a couple of new superstars, re-signed some new contracts. We'll dig into that. Also, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Anniversary show is pretty much set. Also, a big match between two famous luchadors. We're going to talk about that on March the 25th. Also, another New Japan angle that it looked like they were giving us. They're going to hold off on. We'll talk about that. Also, a new challenger for the NWA World title. We'll talk about that as well. A couple of things in the rumor mill and a big thing in Cheap Heat today. So that's pretty much what we have going on today for February the 12th, 2018.
That's right. You can touch us all over the internet at MarkOutMania.com, social media, where we download our podcasts. It is all at MarkOutMania.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes. The list goes on and on and on. MarkOutMania.com.
All right, so we're going to dive into our first, our first subject here. A couple of new superstars signed some new contracts. Firstly, The Miz. He signed a brand new 4-year deal. That's good. Glad to have The Miz around. One of the top heels in the company, obviously. Has the Intercontinental title strapped back around his waist. And he's really done a good job of really bringing some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some relevancy back to the...
Je ne sais quoi.
There you go, to the Intercontinental title. So... it's good to have him around. He's a great heel. He's one of the best mic workers in WWE, if not in all of wrestling right now. So good to have him back. We'll have him 4 more years up until 2022. So glad to have him around. Also, Dolph Ziggler signed a new contract as well. They call it the Sweetheart contract or something like that. Basically, what that means is I think he's going to be able to, he's going to have his match. He can leave the arena after his match. He doesn't have to stick around. He's going to put guys over, and he can work on other projects as long as it doesn't conflict with his WWE schedule, which I'm assuming is still full-time. But when I was thinking about that, I was thinking, what if he goes and works some other promotions? I wonder if that was considered, let's say he's off on a day and New Japan says, hey, we want you to come wrestle whoever. And all of a sudden you see Dolph Ziggler show up in New Japan. I mean, obviously Jim Ross does things for New Japan and he's still under contract with WWE. So it's a possibility, but they call it the Sweetheart contract. And I've never heard that term before. I've never heard the term Sweetheart contract, but apparently, and Ziggler had 2 feet out the door. They said he was gone. Mm-hmm. And they say in the 11th hour, which I assume that means at the last minute, they made him an offer that he couldn't refuse. So he signed it, and now he's going to be back with WWE. I don't know how long, I don't know the money, but basically he's going to, have a lot of, freedom, so to speak, being able to leave after the matches, going work other projects as long as it doesn't conflict with his schedule. But I'm glad that they're keeping Ziggler around. I hope they use him right, because it just seems like when you think they're going to use him right, they don't. Like the Royal Rumble, he came out number 30 after being gone for a month, and then just gets tossed right out of there. So I'm hoping somebody was talking about maybe they throw him a bone at WrestleMania, they let him win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal or something like that. I don't know. Obviously, that's down the road, but... those two guys, those two guys have wrestled many times, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. Ironically, they wrestled in a a career match for Ziggler, which he won the Intercontinental title. So it's funny we're talking about those two guys. But, I mean, what do you think of these two guys, their new contracts and everything?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. The word was 2 feet out the door. That's the quote I see everywhere. I mean, that explains why he laid the strap down, because they were like, look, you can't be the champion anymore. And that's something they probably should have known before they gave him the strap again, which they could have put it on Rude in that match. Mm-hmm. But obviously they found out afterwards, and they were like, hey, well, we got to come up with something real quick. And then it was kind of a 11th hour type thing where they were like, oh, no, he's going to sign this contract with us. And that's why they put him in at number 30. So I don't know who originally had the number 30 spot, and they bumped for Ziggler to show, hey, he's back.
So I didn't read that far. He signed this contract before the Rumble?
I think so. Or it was to the point where they thought, okay, it's a done deal. He's going to sign this deal. Let's put him in the Royal Rumble.
But I don't know. It's weird because if he did sign that contract before the Royal Rumble and he comes in at number 30, because look, let's face it, the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble is it's like a sacred spot to have. I mean, the number in the last few years, at least, well, I'd say last few years, probably the last decade, in 2008, when Cena came out number 30 after, he was injured, and it was a huge surprise return. And ever since then, it's like the number 30 spot is just something sacred about that spot. And the fact that they used it on Ziggler and then just kind of tossed him out of the ring like he was hot garbage, I don't know. It is very weird, but
still, I mean, like, they're not going to push him any. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's just going to lay over for dudes to get him over. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's going to have a title run.
But in that particular instance, I don't know. It's just a waste of to me, it was a waste of a number 30 spot. Bring him in maybe 28, 29 or something like that. But, use that number 30. I don't know who like a Daniel Bryan. Obviously, he wasn't in the Rumble, and I don't, and that's another thing we can talk about on another day, because they were kind of teasing. Shane McMahon had even mentioned something on SmackDown. I saw the YouTube video where Shane's sort of calling out Daniel Bryan for his favoritism of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And, Shane mentioned something about, Daniel, I know that you would love nothing more than to get back in the ring. But, of course, latest reports are saying that they don't believe Daniel Bryan will ever wrestle in a WWE ring again, which is highly disappointing, but that's neither here nor there. But the Ziggler thing, it's, I don't know.
Maybe it was they threw him a solid. They were like, look, man, we appreciate what you did in the past for us, what you're going to do in the future. Here's number 30.
So you're telling me is that had he not re-signed that contract, we may not even have seen Ziggler come out number 30?
Exactly.
So it's just interesting to know who would have been number 30. I don't even know like how far ahead they schedule who's going to be
Mysterio at 30.
That would have been very interesting. But then who would have been 20? So it's like a domino effect. Who would have been and I don't know how far ahead they book who's coming out what number, because to me it seems like booking the Rumble match is a very, very long process, because you have to find, okay, number 1 is coming out number 2, and then who's going to be in the ring when 3 comes out. And so it's just, there's so much going into the Royal Rumble match. So I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even realize he signed that contract before he entered the Royal Rumble at number 30. So that's
what I read. I can neither confirm nor deny that, but that's what I've read. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little surprising. But on the other end, the Miz also signing a new contract. No surprise there. The Miz's WWE future, unlike Dolph Ziggler, never in question. And obviously, the Miz goes to Hollywood, does these movies for parts at a time. But for the most part, he's full time. I mean, he's there every week, and he's getting ready to have, him and Maurice are getting ready to have a child. So I'm sure he'll take a little bit of time off for that. But he does have the Intercontinental title strap now. Looking forward to seeing. I would like to have that strap stay on the Miz for a little while, because there's a possibility to have some great feuds with the Miz and the right guy. Miz can put the right guy over, because like I said, he's a good talker. Now he can bury some people. You remember when he buried Enzo Amore, and oh my gosh, that was absolutely amazing. And then of course, there's times where Miz obviously got buried by John Cena last year. The promo before WrestleMania, obviously on SmackDown, and then of course at WrestleMania, they just really got squashed by John Cena and Nikki Bella. But the Miz, a new contract, 4 more years of the Miz, and I'm okay with that. So
yeah, he's one of Vince McMahon's most trusted guys. I mean, he sends him out to all the pressers, all the red carpets.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty much, besides Triple H, the face of the company. The guy's everywhere. And there's a lot of reports around the internet that we might see a big Miz push coming.
And that, well, of course, we've seen it before at WrestleMania 27. Obviously, he was in the main event with John Cena and beat John Cena. It was mostly because The Rock came out and, obviously, interfered with Cena, causing them to have their once-in-a-lifetime match, which turned into twice-in-a-lifetime at WrestleMania 29. But, obviously, a big Miz push would be no surprise to me, especially since the current Universal Champion, his future is in WWE is somewhat in doubt. We'll obviously dive into that in the rumor mill, but I could obviously see the Miz somewhere down the line, maybe later this year, dropping the IC title to a young and up and coming newcomer in WWE, and then the Miz obviously having a big Universal Championship push. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward with the Miz now that he's here for the next 4 years. So
yeah.
All right, next thing we're going to talk about is New Japan's anniversary show, which you said is what, in March?
Yeah, March 6th.
The main event is Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay.
Can you say epic?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And then I'm pretty sure that'll be for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Will Ospreay is this dude, he has no limits. He cares nothing about his body. So his matches, and you know what? Most people in New Japan, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
It's more of a physical strong style, so it seems like they don't care about their bodies. Their matches are absolutely insane. This one is going to be off the charts.
Well, nowadays, obviously, ever since we started this podcast, we've been talking about how great New Japan is, how tremendous the wrestling is, and like these guys. I mean, we know what Okada can do. Obviously, the dude put on a 6-star match with Kenny Omega last year, or actually 2 or 3 of them, actually, as a matter of fact, put on great matches, and he put on some great matches with other wrestlers as well. And Will Ospreay, obviously another good wrestler that New Japan has, and those two are going to just tear the house down. And it's become, to me at least, you can almost take, there's about 8 to 10 guys in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can put them in a singles match with one another, and they're just going to tear it down, absolutely. Yeah. And these are 2 of those 10 guys that can do that. And the New Japan anniversary show, is that the one that's here in America, or are they?
No, this one's in Tokyo.
So yeah, and there's another show in Los Angeles coming up March 25th.
Right.
There's another match too. Rey Mysterio, he called out Jushin Thunder Liger, and I did see the video, and I said, "Oh wow, that would be awesome." And obviously, they had the plans of that already, because I think it's been made official. March 25th, Rey Mysterio will take on Jushin Thunder Liger, and there was a video I ran into on Facebook. Mm-hmm. They actually wrestled each other back in WCW, I think in 1996.
Yeah.
I need to go back and watch that match. I don't think I've ever actually seen that match. So that's something, folks. We may, when we get a chance, we'll share that on our Facebook pages at MarkOutMania. We'll check that out. That's going to be awesome, because obviously we all seen Rey Mysterio come back at the Royal Rumble. He looked in tremendous shape, and then there was talks of him coming back to WWE, and the conflict there was that he wanted part-time, WWE wanted full-time. They couldn't really do anything there. It would have been great to have him in 205 Live now that Triple H is somewhat taking over 205. Well, actually, he is taking over 205 Live, and the matches have gotten so much better in 205 Live in the past few weeks, and just adding the name of Rey Mysterio to that list of cruiserweights in 205 Live, I mean, that would have took the show over the top. I mean, absolutely there. But now he's in New Japan, or he's going to go wrestle at least this match in New Japan, and it's going to be awesome, because, like I said, it goes back to the New Japan thing. The matches they've been putting on are absolutely spectacular, and these two, these 2 guys that can fly and flip all over the ring, those 2 in the ring, I will definitely be tuned in March 25th, and that's in Los Angeles, so it's not going to be one of those things where, like Wrestle Kingdom, that started at 2 o'clock in the morning over here in America. This is going to be an evening thing, a Sunday night. I don't believe that's about 2 weeks before WrestleMania, so I don't believe there will be a WWE pay-per-view. I don't know when, off the top of my head, I don't know when Fastlane is. I think it's early March, so that Sunday night, I'm sure we'll be gathered at Brink's house to watch that New Japan show with Mysterio and Liger. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Jushin Thunder Liger, one of the most decorated Japanese wrestlers of all time, most respected, one of the most respected. But I tell you what, shame on WWE for letting this opportunity of Rey Mysterio leak out of your hands. Like, the guy has earned part-time. The guy's earned it. And then how much juice would he bring to a brand that you're trying to legitimize in 205, who people could care less about right now? The only reason why 205 is in people's mouths is because of the whole Enzo Amore thing. And you got this gold nugget, in your hands, and you just throw it to the wayside. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but, they do things, obviously, like, the Raw 25 show. Everybody just kind of pooed on it, and it wasn't that good. There was so much hype around it. It wasn't that good. So, obviously WWE is not perfect, and there are some things that they mess up on, and this is just one of those things that they couldn't really come to terms with. And who's to say that, I don't know if Mysterio's going to New Japan long term. This might be a one-off thing, and what a one-off thing it would be. Absolutely, him and Liger going at it on March 25th. So maybe after that, maybe after WrestleMania, they want to maybe, I don't know what the cruiserweight, I don't know what they want to do with the cruiserweights going forward into WrestleMania, but maybe after WrestleMania, bring Mysterio back part-time. Summer storyline going into SummerSlam or something like that could be a possibility, I think, but that's a little ways away. Yeah,
Mysterio doesn't need the money anymore. He's doing it for the love of the industry right now. I mean, like, the guy could go part-time, wrestle in New Japan and AAA in Mexico, and still make boatloads of money. He doesn't need the WWE.
No, he doesn't.
No,
but
not at all.
It was cool to see him come back at the Royal Rumble. Like I said, he looked in fantastic shape. I think he could come back, put a lot of these guys over in 205 Live, put on some spectacular matches, especially with Triple H running the show now.
Right.
And, I mean, like you said, a golden opportunity that slipped through their fingers. And now, we just wait and see if maybe he shows up one day again, 205 Live, or whatever the case may be.
Hope so.
The next thing we're going to talk about now, in New Japan, back to New Japan now, Jericho and Naito, of course, obviously after Wrestle Kingdom, when Jericho and Omega had their feud, Jericho attacked Naito the night after, and since then we haven't really seen we have not seen Jericho in New Japan. At least we saw him Raw 25, but we have not seen him in New Japan. So everybody was wondering, but now I think he's going on tour with Fozzy. I think their tour, if it hasn't started yet, it's starting very, very soon. And their tour is going on until, ironically, April the 8th, the same day as WrestleMania. And maybe sometime after that, they're going to have this match. I don't know what event they could have this match at, but they are going to hold it off. And I hope they don't hold it off too long, because I was thinking maybe they would hold it off to have this match next year at a Wrestle Kingdom. But I don't think they're going to hold it off that far. But that's going to be another fun match there. Jericho put on a great match with Omega, and Naito is arguably just as good, if not better, than Omega is. So I'm really interested to see when they pull the trigger on this Jericho-Naito match.
And this shows the strength that New Japan is starting to have of their reach inside the U.S., because they haven't even announced who's wrestling this show, and they're sold out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, people were probably expecting Jericho and Naito because it was in the U.S.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why a lot of the tickets sold. But no, I mean, it's already sold out. So they're saying, hey, let's hold off on this. Let's get a bigger venue and let's sell that out.
Yeah.
With Jericho Naito. Plus, I think the main event had already been Cody and Omega, right?
Yeah. That is the night before WrestleMania, April 7th, in New Orleans.
Oh, I think they said they're going to do it for this Long Beach one too.
They could. What match are they going to do at Long Beach?
I think the main event's going to be another Cody Omega fight.
So, the show at Long Beach is going to be before.
Oh, you're right.
Is going to be before the April 7th show. So
maybe I messed that up.
Yeah. So I mean, they could pull the trigger there, but I don't think they want to. They're already hyping up. But of course, that's a New Japan show. Wouldn't be surprising, because Ring of Honor is who's getting the Ring of Honor Supercard is what's getting Omega and Cody in New Orleans. So but then again, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what goes behind the booking of all this stuff between Ring of Honor and New Japan. So it would be a good idea. Obviously, it's a good idea to have them in the ring anytime. But whether or not, I don't think they're going to pull the trigger because they're already hyping up this April 7th Supercard show of Ring of Honor in New Orleans, and I don't think New Japan nor Ring of Honor want to put these two guys in the ring one-on-one before then. Now, after that, obviously, I think we're going to see them in the ring a couple of more times because, let's face it, they're going to put on a great match, and they're going to want to put them in the ring again against each other. And I don't know when, I don't know where, but I think we will see them sort of like, Omega and Okada did. They've wrestled 3 times back in 2017, put on those 3 great matches, and they could probably do the same with Cody and Kenny Omega because those are 2 guys where not only are they well known in Japan, they're all well known here in America. Omega, arguably the face of New Japan. Cody is is one of the top rising superstars in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that could be one heck of a rivalry. I can, looking forward to the end of the year when we're doing our year-end show, if we do a rivalry of the year, I could easily see a Cody and an Omega being the rivalry of the year. So they're going to put on a great show. I would love to be able to go to New Orleans and watch that match, which is I'm also interested in seeing, and I think I might have mentioned this last week, they're going to rival NXT TakeOver in New Orleans that night. Going to be interesting to see how the gates do, how the attendance is and all that stuff. That's going to be very interesting. But, yes, I don't know. We started talking about so many shows. I'm getting confused now. The Long Beach show, which is in early March. That is, and what's the main event for that? Do you know yet? Or
no, I thought I'd read Omega and Cody, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, so I haven't looked up much of that yet. I probably should do that. But the Long Beach show, obviously, that's going to be a good one. Now, I know the March 25th show with Mysterio and Liger, that's going to be in Los Angeles, I believe.
L.A.
That's going to be in L.A. So
Hollywood, baby.
So I didn't know if that was the show you were talking about or not, because Long Beach, I don't know if Long Beach and Los Angeles are
representing the LBC.
The 6-1. Well, no, it's San Diego 619. I was about to say 619, but that's all San Diego. But yeah, that's a lot of stuff going down. WrestleMania season with New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE. So it's easy to get all the things mixed up, especially after the long weekend I had with Mardi Gras and everything. But we do know for a fact Jericho and Naito, they're being held off until whenever. Also, I think they're going to probably do. See, my thought is that last year they did the G1 special here in America, the USA G1 special in Los Angeles. Maybe they pull the trigger with Jericho and Naito at that event here in America because Jericho went to Japan for Wrestle Kingdom, put on the show with Omega. Maybe now they try to draw more American, draw more of a crowd here in America by having Jericho, I was about to say he's not an American wrestler, obviously he's Canadian, but more than well known here in America. So maybe they use Jericho to draw in more American fans into their show here on American soil. So that's going to be interesting.
And I would love for Jericho to stay around, and at that show, we get to see an alpha stable in New Japan, and he brings in some of the outsiders, like Brink said, the Guy John. And maybe it's some of the hottest indie talent right now, like Joey Ryan and then Jax Dane. And they come in and they, interfere in the match, start beating down Naito. Then Omega comes out, fights him off. And then, God, we just get some epic, stable type rivalries for a while before Jericho goes back to WWE.
And that wouldn't be surprising because New Japan, they're all about the stables.
Yeah.
They have their big stables. They're very big on having those, 6-man, 8-man, 10-man tag matches and everything. So I would not be surprised if they did start an alpha stable. But then again, I'm still not sure Jericho's status with New Japan as far as his contract details, or I don't even know if he has a contract, if he just signs these little small deals to appear at, because he's only appeared twice.
Yeah.
Well, no, not twice. He's appeared a few more times, but the build-up, obviously, to Wrestle Kingdom, he showed up there too. But since then, he showed up once, and then we haven't seen Jericho in New Japan since, so that'll be interesting. So moving along now, new challenger for the NWA title, which right now is held by Nick Aldis. So we put it. Did you put it up on the Facebook page? I think you did. You put it up. There's it's a photo, and the new challenger is none other than the one and only James Ellsworth. the most glorified jobber in the past year in pro wrestling. Obviously, he beat AJ Styles. So, 'cause I think he said he wanted a former world champion or somebody who
beat a world
champion, and he beat AJ Styles in a match, thanks to the help, of course, of Dean Ambrose. But he challenged it. I think that match happened already, or is that going to happen?
No, it's going to happen, yeah.
It's going to happen, yeah. So when is it going to happen?
I'm not for sure. I didn't dig into it that much because I think it's insane, and I don't know what Billy Corgan is thinking, that this guy is going to challenge for your belt. I guess it's just for the viral views.
It must be because, I mean, obviously, let's face it, James Ellsworth doesn't belong in the same ring as a Nick Aldis, any NWA World Champion.
He's not a top guy in any indie organization.
But, he got popular in WWE, and now he's using that, and more power to him, that he can use his time in WWE to, elevate the exposure and just, he beat AJ Styles with the help of Dean Ambrose, and now you're going on to challenge Nick Aldis for the NWA World Title, the 10 pounds of gold, one of the most prestigious belts in all of pro wrestling. And he obviously he ain't the greatest wrestler either, but I don't know. It's I have mixed feelings about James Ellsworth. He's a great jobber, by one of the best jobbers I've seen. Of course, he got famous from getting his butt kicked by Braun Strowman, but and he was kind of over, and he's and I remember reading a thing about James Ellsworth after he got released from WWE, how him and Carmella are real tight now. Of course, Carmella broke up with Big Cass now, so Ellsworth might be trying to slide into them DMs over there with Carmella, which I don't blame him. I'd slide into those DMs too. But James Ellsworth, glad to see that he's getting work elsewhere. But, challenging for the NWA World Title, do y'all not have a better opponent for Nick Aldis I don't know. So, But James Ellsworth apparently is challenging for the NWA World Title, and he ain't going to win, obviously. If he wins, come on.
Yeah, Corgan needs to be body slammed if he wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through 6 tables. Now, this is a free plug. So remember us in the future, Fight TV. Mm-hmm. But Fight TV is an app and a website where you can watch MMA, wrestling, stuff like that. The flagship TV show of the NWA is Wrestling in Hollywood, and that is where Ellsworth came out and took the challenge, hashtag Aldis Crusade, and you can watch all of their matches for free on Fight TV.
Yeah, that's actually Cruz was telling me about that app last night. It's FITE, right?
Yep.
I downloaded it last night because you can watch like Ring of Honor on there.
Yeah.
Like you can stream Ring of Honor on there.
Yeah, they just streamed a 3-hour event free.
Absolutely, yeah. So for all you wrestling fans out there, go download the Fight app. It looks pretty cool. I didn't really dig into it. I downloaded it just last night. I was told about it. So Ring of Honor stuff, and I was like, I wonder if Ring of Honor Supercard's going to be on it. Like, no, I doubt they'll just stream that on that app for free. But
well, it might be, but you'll have to pay for it.
Yeah, you'd have to pay for it, which I'd pay to watch Cody and Omega go at it, so that would be cool too. So Ellsworth challenging for the NWA World Title. I doubt he wins it, but I don't know. It's wrestling. You never know. All right. Well, we ran through that stuff pretty quickly. I can't see the timer. Where are we?
We're at 28 minutes.
Oh, so we're about halfway through. Only halfway through the show. Even if this is a little bit shorter of a show, I guess it doesn't necessarily matter.
It's Mardi Gras, man.
Yeah, it is Mardi Gras. Like I said,
roulette.
Between Mardi Gras and the ER trip last week, I'm so out of it. I'm going to be a lot. I'm not quite myself today, but I'll be a lot more of myself on Sunday because I think that's going to be the tail end of my antibiotics. So,
right on.
But you ready? You just want to jump into rumor mill now?
Let's do it, baby.
Let's jump into the rumor mill because there's a couple of big things to talk about in the rumor mill. What do you have? I don't want to give it away right here. Is this the first thing you have mentioned right here in your rumor mill? Yes, I do. All right, so let's talk about that first. Obviously, the current Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, his contract is up at WrestleMania 34, and there is talk that he will go back to UFC after his contract expires. Now, of course, we already expect Roman Reigns to face Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania, and we fully expect Roman Reigns to win the Universal title at WrestleMania. So, Brock, now this is my thoughts on it. If Brock goes back to UFC, I'm okay with that because as much as I enjoy when Brock Lesnar is on WWE TV, as much as I enjoy some of his matches, because lately, to me, just his matches, the quality has just gone way down. That triple threat match at the Royal Rumble was not good at all.
And you think being a part-time performer, you should be ready.
Exactly.
You'd be fresh.
And you know what? He came back in 2012. It's 2018. He leaves at WrestleMania. He came back for 6 years. You know, it almost seems like just not that long ago that he came back, but he came back for 6 years. Mm-hmm. And when he came here in 2002, I don't know. I don't even think his first stint in WWE was 6 years. So he had a hell of a run. You know, the last 6 years, he's won the WWE World Heavyweight title. He's won the Universal title. So he had one heck of a run. He ended the Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. He's won some huge matches, and you know he came through and hung around for 6 years. But now I think a few years ago, he was expected when his contract was up at WrestleMania 31. There was talks that he was going to leave, but then the last week or two before WrestleMania, he re-signed for another 2 or 3 years, and that's where we are now, the end of his contract. And I'm okay if he goes back to UFC. I'd like to go back and see him in UFC because he was somewhat successful, obviously, in UFC, winning the UFC heavyweight title. And now that's one less person that can somewhat, I guess you can say, hold the Universal title hostage as a part-timer. Give it to one of these young full-time guys, and like Roman Reigns, and he'll win it. And from there, you're going to have Reigns defending it every month against whoever, against the Finn Balor, against the Samoa Joe when he comes back from injury. So, like I said, I'm glad Lesnar was able to come back, and stuck around for 6 years and had some good moments. I'm not going to say he came in and it was an absolute trash run. He had some great moments. He had some great matches. But at the end of the day, as of late, to me, it's starting to, the lust, I guess, for Lesnar is starting to wear off. He came in, he did his thing, and now, as far as I'm concerned, he can go back to UFC, and I won't lose any sleep over it.
Now, it sucks for Braun Strowman that you were an impromptu, sparring partner for a second there. But yeah, the thing with Brock is, dude, he can go to the UFC and make off of one fight what he makes an entire year in the WWE.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Maybe more. And the heavyweight division is not what it used to be. There's no competition for Brock. He will run the heavyweight division making mad money. And he can fight 2 or 3 times a year, make $40 million a year, just fighting 3 times a year. And, just be high on the hog. Now, also, speaking of Braun Strowman, and I like the way you said it gives way to more of a full-time performer.
Yeah.
It gives way to Braun Strowman.
Absolutely.
Now, who can beat Braun Strowman?
The only person that has ever beaten Braun Strowman is Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
That's the only person that has ever beaten. And you know what? I can talk about that later. I was thinking about because Sasha and Nia Jax are scheduled to fight at Elimination Chamber, and that's about the same time. I think it was at Fastlane, though. Was it Elimination Chamber last year or Fastlane that Strowman lost to Reigns? I think it was at.
Not for sure.
It was at one of those because it was the one. It was the one or two. It was one of the two between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I hope they don't have Nia Jax somehow get a win over Asuka at Elimination Chamber, because that right there, it's a very similar situation. Asuka undefeated against this big powerhouse that they're trying to put over in the women's division, Nia Jax, whereas last year undefeated Braun Strowman, he put over Roman Reigns, their guy. That's what they want. So I'm hoping that. Just a thought I had. I got off track there a little bit. Just a thought I had, but Lesnar, obviously, if he goes, that obviously makes way for some of these full time young guys. Like I mentioned Finn Balor, the first Universal Champion. He held it for one whole day, and he hasn't sniffed it since then. And now that he's back with the club, the Balor Club, that is, what better time? I think that's my opinion. The first feud after WrestleMania for Roman Reigns should be Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. And that's a feud that could go on for a couple of months. That you can have Finn beat Roman, and then Roman win it back. And those two guys, I think, can put on some great wrestling matches.
Yeah.
That has the potential to be a very good rivalry going into the summer. So that's just my opinion. I think that could be a good, solid rivalry for the Universal Championship after WrestleMania, especially if Brock leaves.
Now, let me get your take on this, because you did mention Asuka being undefeated. There's a video out of like a Rumble-style match that the NXT had, that she was eliminated over the top rope.
Yeah.
Is that a loss?
Not by... I mean, it's a loss, technically, but, it's I don't know, it's...
It's very technical, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's technically a loss, but technically you never got pinned. And I guess in pro wrestling, if you've never been pinned, then you're still undefeated, air quotes here. But you've never, I don't know, there's such a gray area there that you really don't know. She does have a loss, but she's never been pinned. I guess I should say that. She's never been pinned. And the same thing with Braun Strowman up until that match with Reigns last year at Elimination Chamber or Fastlane or whatever it was. Never been pinned or submitted. And same thing with Asuka. Never been pinned, never been submitted, never lost a one-on-one match. She's undefeated in one-on-one matches. And she's going to have a one-on-one match with Nia Jax. And Nia Jax has lost, obviously. So that's going to be an interesting match there. Yeah. And also, of course, Kurt Angle did announce if Nia Jax wins that match, she will be added to the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. So the Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania could be a triple threat match. But, we'll find out in Elimination Chamber. Once again, we always get off topic, but, sometimes we talk about things and it stimulates my mind and it makes me think of other things worth talking about.
Right.
So, but yeah, basically what we tried to cover there, Brock is, the rumor has it that he's going to be going back to UFC after WrestleMania. And if so, I'm okay with it. I'm sure you're okay with it. I'm sure a lot of wrestling fans are okay with it.
Yeah.
What's the next thing you have in the rumor mill?
I'm looking for a comeback, brother.
Oh, yes, I did see that. Talk about that.
Hulk Hogan is eyeing a WWE return. He talked to TMZ Sports, and he said he wants to right the wrongs that he committed in the past. And actually, another superstar, former superstar, was in that video as well with TMZ. Ric Flair vouched for the Hulkster, saying that when Rick was going through some tough times, the Hulk was there for him and said, hey, he deserves this chance to right his wrongs. What do you think?
I mean, it's Hulk Hogan, one of the biggest icons in the history of pro wrestling. He made his comments that, nowadays you can't say stuff like that and get away with it.
Yeah.
You're going to be under fire. And
does time heal wounds?
It does, I think. And, wrestling is a business where they always say never. I don't think he's coming back because I just don't see how WWE can really benefit from a Hulk Hogan return.
It's all about putting butts in a seat, and no better one than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I suppose, but I'm personally at the point now where, if Hulk Hogan shows up, does a promo or whatever, like when he showed up for WrestleMania 30, he was the host. Obviously, yes, that was brilliant. That was a good move to have the guy who main evented the first WrestleMania as the host of the 30th WrestleMania, but I don't know. Having Hulk back, obviously he can't wrestle. And there was a time a few years ago where he felt like he could return to the ring, and I'm like, dude, come on now, let's be realistic here.
Yeah.
Like, you might be able to return to the ring, take a few bumps, but you won't be able to hang with the way wrestling is nowadays. There's no way, because even then, there's people out there that will say, yeah, Hulk was a great sports entertainer, but could he truly wrestle? He wasn't the greatest wrestler. He was a great attraction. Maybe the greatest of all time as far as an attraction. But as a wrestler, and I'm not trying to hate on Hulk Hogan. Obviously, he's the reason wrestling is what it is today, or one of the big reasons that is. But as a wrestler, he was average at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, we should book the Iron Sheik.
Now, the Iron Sheik, that's a guy, you put him on
his opinion on it.
You put him on a microphone, you can't go wrong with putting the Iron Sheik on a microphone. Now, granted, we work in radio. We couldn't put him on no terrestrial radio because we get kicked off the air real quick. But and
with iTunes, we got to keep it clean too. So it'd be mostly beeps.
Yeah, it'd just be the straight beep. It'd be like watching the Osbournes back in the day, straight beeps the whole time. The Iron Sheik would be on here, but
yeah, the Sheik said he was total garbage, and that the only reason why he is who he is today is because he put him over.
Yeah, but as far as Hulk coming back to WWE, yeah, of course, obviously Hulk would love to come back to WWE. Anybody except CM Punk, of course, that has left WWE would love to come back to WWE, but I just don't think. I personally don't really see how WWE can benefit long term from it. So I just don't think they're going to pull the trigger and have him come back. It'd be cool to have him come back at a WrestleMania, making a one-off appearance at a WrestleMania. That'd be cool. But other than that, I see no benefit of having Hulk Hogan just come back to WWE. I think he came back for WrestleMania as the host back in 2014, and what else can you do? I mean, that's about it. Hulk's getting at the age now where, I don't know what kind of shape he's in. He always seems like he's in great shape.
Yeah, he looks good
for his age. Obviously, yeah, he looks great. But I don't see it. I don't see Hulk making a comeback. Although if he shows up at WrestleMania, I'd be like, yeah, cool, all right, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, obviously, But like I said, other than that, I don't see in what capacity you could bring a Hulk Hogan back. He comes back to. Even then, like, you got, because I remember back in, I think it was WrestleMania 21, when they had Muhammad Hassan and Daivari, those two guys, one of the biggest heels at the time. I mean, dude, this was post 9/11. These guys are, like, Muslims and, like, kind of, like, almost, I don't want to say terrorist, but they had, like, the terrorist gimmick.
Yeah, they both.
And Hulk Hogan came out at WrestleMania and, beat him up. And nowadays, I just don't see how any heels would benefit from Hulk Hogan just showing up at WrestleMania just to get beat down by the Hulkster. And so that's just me. I don't mean to sound negative about it, because I love me some Hulk Hogan, man. He's done a lot for the business and everything. But I don't know, I'm not feeling it.
Speaking of CM Punk and returns, now Bleacher Report's reporting that UFC 225 is going to be CM Punk versus Mike Jackson.
I did see that.
Why? Come on, Dana White. I mean, seriously, you going to pay this guy again?
I mean, look, I think he got in the ring with Mickey Gall, and Mickey Gall apparently is like one of the next upcoming.
Yeah, who ends up turning out to be a great fighter.
Yeah, Mickey Gall, everybody's hating on CM Punk for getting his ass kicked. Oh, well. I dropped the A word there, but I guess it's okay. But that's what happened. He got his butt whipped.
Yes.
But there is no shame in getting your butt whipped by Mickey Gall. Like, there's a lot of hype around Mickey Gall, and I think he's going to go on to be a fantastic. And it was his first fight. Like, come on now. Like, if anybody expected CM Punk to step into the octagon for the first time and just dominate somebody, it's not going to happen,
Parkour.
Now, the second fight, I don't know much about the guy he's facing, but...
Well, this guy, Mike Jackson, lost to Mickey Gall as well.
So, CM Punk might have more of a chance in this fight. I don't know if he's going to win or not. Like I said, I don't keep up with UFC as much as wrestling, obviously, but I would like to see Punk do well, because I think, I don't think he's coming back to WWE. I don't think we will ever see Punk wrestle full-time with WWE. Maybe in the next 5 years or so, we might see CM Punk show up for a random appearance for whatever reason. But
in an interview, he said he still texts Vince McMahon every day.
CM Punk?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yes. Let me look it up real quick.
That's that's very surprising to me, because I know that him and Triple H legit do not like. They have heat with each other. They don't like each other. For whatever, they have, I guess they have their reasons that they don't like each other, but I don't know. I just think, because eventually, and we're going to talk, we're about to, we might as well dive into this now, because we are in rumor mill, but the rumor is that now with the XFL revival, that Wrestling Observer Now, or Wrestling Observer News, or whatever it is, they're reporting that Triple H is going to start getting more and more power over the company, now with Vince transitioning into XFL management. And if Triple H starts taking more power with the company, I just don't see that CM Punk, first of all, would even want to come back. And I don't even know if Triple H would want to have him back, because there just seems like, because, obviously the shoot interview that Punk did with Colt Cabana after he left, he said, I remember he said, when me and Triple H are in a room, never any good vibes. So I feel like there's just some major heat between those two guys. And as long as Triple H is running the show, I don't think CM Punk would ever come back to wrestle for Triple H. And not, if Triple H we know when Triple H starts running the show in WWE, those match qualities are going to just increase more and more. And they won't even need a CM Punk. Like, they're going to, CM Punk who? Like, they're going to have all these up and coming guys putting on these spectacular matches, like the one that was put on at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia with Gargano and Almas. So you can have more matches like that. You don't need a guy like CM Punk to come back. So once again, I would love to see CM Punk back in the ring in WWE. Obviously, same thing with like Hulk Hogan. Like, be cool to have the Hulkster back. I just don't see it happening. I don't see what kind of capacity Hulk will come back, and even same thing with CM Punk. I could see CM Punk coming back to wrestle, but as long as Triple H is there, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I can't find that interview. Only thing I find is Fox Sports says Vince McMahon apologized to CM Punk, says he'd work with him again. That was January 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I could have swore it was in a recent interview talking about his possible upcoming fight at 225. But I can't find it. I wish I would have posted it on Markout's Facebook.
Yeah, I was about to say if we find it, we can post it on the on the Facebook page. So y'all just keep a lookout for that. But in the rumor mill, we're still talking Triple H. Apparently, the rumor is, of course, he has full control of NXT. Now he has full control of 205 Live, and we've seen the improvement of 205 Live over the past few weeks. And they're saying that with the XFL revival, Vince might start focusing more on the XFL. Even though in the press conference he did say his role with WWE will not change, things might change. So if Triple H takes over more and more of the company, then that's a good thing. I think the wrestling community is unanimous in saying that's a good thing that Triple H would take over. But right now, that's pretty much all we know, is that he may take over. Of course, the XFL revival is not for another 2 years, so this is not exactly something that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, I don't think. But, maybe in the next year or two, we could see Triple H with more power, and with that, we may start seeing better booking, better matches, and I'm sure we'll be able to tell the day that Triple H starts taking more reins over the main roster. That's for sure.
Well, it could happen in the next 2 years because Vince is going to be having to work hard, hiring people, getting the XFL off the ground. So what better time than now?
Exactly.
To say, look, hey, I may be back in a few years after the XFL is running fine. Please, God, let it run fine. But for now, I need to focus on the XFL,
Yeah, and I was on Reddit this morning, reading all the comments on it. Everybody's all like, "Man, I'm more excited for the XFL now. I hope it does well." Because if Triple H takes over, then all the wrestling fans are going to be very, very happy. So, that's there really isn't much to talk about with that other than Triple H taking over is a very high possibility. I guess it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when at this point. Right. So, obviously, Vince McMahon's not going to live forever, but then again, I don't know. He might.
Or could he?
So, like I said, at this point, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Is it the next 2 years, once the XFL is revived? I don't know. But right now, Wrestling Observer is apparently reporting that Triple H could very well take over, have more power over the company once the XFL starts kind of get going and, they get started and everything, and Vince is worried about that. So I guess we will wait and see what happens there. So that means now we're going to go to Cheap Heat.
Yeah.
Other than the one thing we talked about, like this thing right here, do you have anything else for Cheap Heat?
Yes, I do.
Well, go ahead and discuss that.
All right. So Mick Foley's got some heat with the TSA agent.
Oh, I did see that.
So apparently Mick flies a lot. And he's in the Million Mile Club or whatever it's called, right? So
the million. I wonder if he's in the Mile High Club too.
Yeah, hey, he is. Come on.
I would love to be on the Mile High Club with his daughter. That's for sure. But that's another story for another day.
So Mick Foley tweeted this, and so apparently a TSA agent wanted to find out what he was packing, And so he said, at AskTSA, as a Delta Million Miler who, with one exception, has been patted down every one of my flights in the past year, I do know what to expect. Today's agent was far more exploratory of my inner thigh scrotum than any agent in the past. Not uncomfortable, degrading.
I tell you what, I've been, obviously I probably have not flown as many times as Mick Foley has, but I've never really been patted down at an airport or anything like that. I guess I just don't look suspicious, but I've never been patted down. But I can about imagine just getting just deeply patted down by somebody, and I don't know. It would make me uncomfortable. So, hey, if I'm Mick Foley, I don't know. It's like I said, I've never been patted down, and I guess Mick Foley has a legit gripe if he's a million-mile, frequent flyer or whatever it is, and
you know what it probably is, too? It's probably the TSA agent. They recognize who he is. Or somebody's walking over. Yo, Mick Foley is on the line. So he randomly gets chose because maybe the TSA person wants to, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Fondle him?
Demasculinize him?
I guess. I don't know.
Show him that he's the boss?
Yeah.
Like, you're a celebrity, but guess who's the boss now?
Yeah, I'm in charge right here.
Yeah, I'm in charge right now, buddy.
Sounds like somebody with an ego problem if that is the case.
Now, I went, funny story real quick. I went, the flight got canceled, but I was going to Memphis for a St. Jude conference. And they put me through, they didn't even give me the choice. They just said, come hop in here. And like the little thing that scans you.
Yeah.
So I was in there, and I had to take my belt off, obviously. Well, my pants are too big. So my pants are falling. I'm like, yo, my pants are going to fall when I put my arms up because you got to stand like almost like you're getting put against a wall almost.
Yeah,
and he was like, well, just pull them up as far as you can and hopefully they don't fall off. I was like, oh, man. So I do that. I come out. They find an anomaly on my left leg. And I'm like, oh, great. So I come out there. I'm holding my pants with one hand. The guy starts patting me down, but it's so forceful, he almost pulls my pants all the way off in the middle of the airport.
Oh, yeah. And I have some pairs of pants that if I were to do that, take a belt off, my pants would fall down too. But I don't fly that much, so I guess I never have to really worry about that stuff. I've flown once probably in the past, 8 years. So, but yeah, apparently Mick Foley, I guess, wasn't too happy with the treatment he got. I mean, they weren't mistreating him. They were just, I guess, really, they were a little extra with him, I guess is what the word you can use. So, it is what it is. And, at the end of the day, these guys are there to make sure that, everybody's safe on the airplane. And I'm okay with that because after 9/11.
And fondle celebrities.
Yeah, I mean, now, granted, if I was the TSA agent and Mick Foley walked through, I'd probably like, hey, let me pat you down, Mick, just to kind of say, hey, what's up? And, I got to touch Mick Foley.
Let me talk to you with my
hands. That sounded so wrong, but, I mean, yeah, so, but it is what it is, it's not, I mean, that's what it is. When you go through TSA sometimes like that, and you get, selected like that, it happens, and it's for everybody's safety, I suppose, but, and I'm sure there's some people out there that do it just to kind of be some a-holes about it, but it is what it is. So,
so the next story we got is from Enzo's accuser. So she put out a brand new YouTube video. You can see the full video on our Markout Mania Facebook page, but here's a small little clip.
I don't even know where to start. There are women in the past that are jaded and sicker than most others that have lied about alleged accusations and shit like that. I get it. And I get that my history and my previous YouTube videos are 100% not in my favor at all. They kind of discredit everything I've said from my last YouTube video on. I get it. Like, I'm not stupid. I'm not like, why is no one believing me? Like, it's obvious. It's obvious why no one's believing me. But do you think that I would still proceed to ruin a man's career merely for 2 seconds of unwanted fame? I did not want that shit. I did not want to go viral. Like, I didn't want any of that.
So obviously this chick is cuckoo, man. I mean, we could tell it from the very first video.
Yeah.
On her Twitter.
Yeah, because, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but, that first video, she was talking about the experience, and when most women talk about that kind of experience, they can't really keep their composure about it. You know, they'll start breaking down, get emotional. She was not breaking down. She was not getting emotional about it. She seemed to have a straight face, which obviously you have to have whether you're lying or not, you got to keep a straight face. But it just doesn't. She just, I don't know. It's weird. And didn't she reportedly get released from a mental hospital or something like that? I mean, I haven't. Enzo's not in WWE anymore, so as far as I'm concerned, that story, I haven't paid attention to it. It's obviously a big story with the world we have today and all the sexual assault allegations with all these famous people and all what the case may be. But from what I'm hearing, it's like this girl's credibility just seems to decrease more and more every time she talks.
Exactly. Her story is changing too many times. Now she's saying 2 other WWE employees were involved. One was like a costume designer. I don't know what the other person does. It wasn't
like major wrestlers?
No. People behind the scenes.
Okay.
And then, she just, in the video, she talks about how she just got released from a mental hospital because she tried the OD on some of her meds. And she's just a basket case, man.
Yeah, but as far as we know so far, I don't think Enzo's really been charged with anything.
No. And apparently, he was all cool with the situation because he wanted to leave anyway so that he could further his rap career.
That's the thing, too. Like that report that apparently he was trying to leave WWE to, I don't know why.
And he's not good.
I don't care to listen to him rap, he wasn't a good wrestler either. But at the same time, I would much rather be a professional wrestler with WWE than try to be a rapper. Like, you got to be kidding me. But then again, he might have used his WWE career to catapult himself into having a rap career. I don't know. He seems like he ain't all there either.
No.
Seems like he might have gone to a mental institution as well. We might have been where he raped her. I don't know, or something. Or
at least where he met her for the first time and hatched the story. Hey, I'm trying to get out of my contract, see?
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's
the story's bona fide.
It's a weird, it really is a weird story.
And you know what the crazy thing is? I don't know why I introed with that, because I wanted to tell people to go to our Facebook page, because he was at a radio station in New York. Scroll down. It's going to be there. It's Enzo. What do you call it when they just rap from their head?
Freestyling.
And it is the biggest pile of steaming poo you have ever seen in your life.
So better yet, maybe you won't want to watch it, or maybe you want to go see how trash it is.
Oh, it's a good laugh.
It's a good laugh. I may go check it out, but I have no. I mean, not just Enzo, but I don't watch rappers freestyling. It ain't my thing. I'd rather watch just wrestling videos all day. Or back when John Cena used to kind of freestyle out, I'd watch that. That was kind of entertaining. But
he's got chops. He can rap.
Yeah,
right.
Cena can chop. I would have loved to see Cena in a rap battle with Enzo. That would have been some entertainment.
Yeah.
Boy, because Cena probably would have buried him worse than Miz did. That's for sure. But
all right, let's get to the coup d'etat.
Yes, that would
Is
be.
That how you say it?
I guess that would be.
We'll roll with it.
Yeah, we're rolling with it. That would be a Booker T, Corey Graves.
Yes.
So Booker T was taken off of Monday Night Raw commentary, and then he came out was saying how Corey Graves was the reason that he was taken off, and Booker was talking about you don't mess with my green, and apparently
I get mean when you mess with my green.
Yeah, and apparently Corey Graves, being the reason he left, you're messing with Booker T's green, and then Booker T went on there, went on a podcast or something.
It's his podcast, Heated Conversations, yeah.
And was talking about, if I see Corey Graves on the street, I will beat him down and this and that. And all of a sudden, I think Corey was on Booker T's podcast.
Yeah, but before that, Corey had also tweeted a line from The Art of War.
Yeah.
That made it sound like, you want some? Come get some.
Yeah, and I mean, we thought we were going to legit see these dudes fight.
Yes.
And it was really a hot topic, and it's funny because it might have been the hottest angle in WWE for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
But then Corey Graves went on his podcast, They just cleared the air. They basically said it was a word.
They worked us all.
They got us. They're as cool as can be with each other. Apparently, Booker was more than happy to be off the Raw announce team, because now he has a backstage role, and because they were joking around saying, Booker T, as after he realized he wasn't going to be on the Raw announce team, he said he had the biggest smile on his face ear to ear. So the pressure is taken off of Booker T, and I really like Jonathan Coachman at commentary now. He went to ESPN for about 8 or 9 years, and he got really a big sports side of it, and now he kind of brings that sports perspective into the ring now, and I really like Coach at commentary, so it's a good thing there. And there obviously no heat between Corey Graves and Booker T. They're good pals,
right?
They so don't expect to see them fighting anytime soon because they're in cahoots now, and apparently they always were. So, and there was times on TV where obviously we've seen videos where Corey insulted Booker T, and Booker T just gave him that stank look, man, and they made it look so real. So that they were trying to keep kayfabe alive, man.
Yeah.
And but it's cool though, because I like what they did because obviously Graves can't wrestle. Booker T, I'm pretty sure, is officially retired from in-ring competition. So they weren't ever going to wrestle. But if they were to wrestle, man, that would have been an interesting little match feud there. So they worked us all for a couple of weeks, and they were joking. He's like, "Yeah, Book, we always can clown now." By the time that we had the hottest angle in WWE for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so,
I like what Corey had to say. Not only did they get over on the smarks who think they know everything, but industry level dudes like Michael Cole bought into it. He was like, "Holy crap, what's going on, Corey?"
Yeah, like
Big E bought into it. Holy crap, what's going on, Corey? You know, and it's like they got over on everybody. They got over on us marks. They got it over on the industry. Well done, guys.
Yeah, bravo. So they, like I said, that's how you get cheap heat, right? That was probably the best definition of cheap heat you could ever see right there. So they easily made people believe that they did not like each other, and they didn't even have to step foot in the ring to do it.
No,
unbelievable.
And I like how like Corey knew it right off the bat. Like once Big E called him, he was like, this is Book messing around. This is Book,
Yeah, that's what Corey said. It's like nobody ever called me to find out if we really hated each other. Everyone just heard what I said and assumed we didn't like each other and stuff. So nobody actually called to confirm it or anything. And
right.
They finally just said, all right, yeah, we just messing with y'all. We cool as hell.
Stuff,
so
man.
Yeah, good stuff. But
take notes, guys.
Yeah, that's how you do a feud right there, man. And they weren't even trying to do a feud. They were just messing with each other and messing with everybody else, and it worked. So
yeah.
But with that being said, I think that's about all we have, right?
Yeah,
you have
man.
anything else, man?
No, that's all I got.
Well, once again, we thank everybody for tuning in. We will be back, next Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 18th, correct?
Yes, and we will have guest host Hunter Bowers with us. And, of course, he is a staff writer here at MarkOutMania. You can check out his column. Just go to MarkOutMania.com, click Wrestling Blogs. Going to be right on there with Brink's column. So he's going to be on there tomorrow. So he's going to be on there next week, and I'm looking forward because he's got some great takes. If you've read any of his work, it should be an interesting show. Bring some fresh takes to the show.
Absolutely. Looking forward to have Hunter on the show next week. That'll be on Sunday. We don't know the exact time yet, but it'll be Sunday, February the 18th. So take us home, man.
All right. For everything Mark Out Mania, apparel, social media, where to find our show and download it, MarkOutMania.com. With that said, it's time to release Patrick out of here and let him go hit up some Southwest Louisiana Mardi Gras.
It's not even Southwest Louisiana. I'm going to you never heard of it, Eunice, Mamou, Church Point, that area.
Yeah.
The best Cajun Mardi Gras you will find anywhere on planet Earth.
He's jetting, setting.
Yeah, maybe go find myself a wife. Who knows?
Styling, profiling, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. Heck yeah. All right, guys, another great episode in the books. With that said,
outro.
You've been listening to the Mark Out Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media, LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Mark Out Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Markout Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit MarkOutMania.com. You've been marked.